Nobody ever thought their way to success. Nobody ever hoped their way to success. Nobody ever wrote goals on a planner to success. They acted. Action is what attracts. It's the action. It's the movement. Every person has a change the world speech inside of them. It's inside of you. Every one of you have a message. Every one of you have a dream. And my hope is that today you'll begin to express that dream better than you ever have, because people need to hear your story. People need to see your vision. And when you learn to communicate, you pass it on to others, and you help so many people make a difference in the world. So let your dream come out and learn how to communicate it with excellence. Thank you very much. My name is John. I'm your friend. Thank you.
This few series, we are talking about lessons from Live to Lead. And whether you attended Live to Lead or you didn't attend, these series are going to bless you. All right? These series are going to bless you. This evening, we have 4 amazing young men and women who were in the room at Live to Lead, and they are going to share their lessons. I'm going to go unusual. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves to all of us. So I'm not going to bore you at all. They will tell you who they are, and you will know them. All right. So let's see who is in the room. I have Gideon in the room. I have Priscilla in the room. All right. I have Michael in the room, and I have Akosia in the room. All right. So we are going to start with Gideon. Gideon, tell us a bit about yourself. The world is listening.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Gideon Sarkodie. I'm in the University of Cape Coast. I'm a medical student in my 4th year. And I'm also a Christian. Yes, I'm a member of the Church of Christ Campus Ministry. And in the church, I serve as the edification leader. And I also served as the benevolence leader in the past year. I'm passionate about leadership, and I aspire and I want to develop myself to be a good leader so that I can change people's perception of leadership. People would be able to appreciate what leaders really are and what leaders should really be doing for them. So that is something brief about me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gideon. We appreciate you, and you are welcome to the leadership platform. All right, Akosia.
Hello, everyone. My full name is Akosia Uswa Echampon, and I'm a recent graduate of the University of Ghana, where I offered economics with math. And back in school, I was a leader at church, the communications or publicity head, and also I was part of Inactus UG, where I was the sponsorship head and secretary. I'm also very passionate about leadership and also personal development. And so I'm really happy to be on this platform to share my takeaways and the lessons I took from Live to Lead 2022. Nice to have you all here. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so much. We cannot see Priscilla. If Priscilla, you can adjust your camera so that we can see you, that would be great. But let's go to Michael.
Okay, so good evening to everyone. I'm Michael Osei. I'm currently offering an MPhil in fruit science and a graduate assistant to the Department of Horticulture. Apart from that, I interned with Quiver, and I'm running I'll say I started a business called Pristine Health Juice. I'm very passionate about leading and always ready to learn. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What did you say your business is? What's the name?
It's
of
called
your
Pristine
business?
Health Juice.
Okay.
Pristine Health Juice.
Health juice.
Health juice.
All right. We
Yes.
should have held this in person so we can have some of the juice. I think you have to send some of us some of the juice to be sure that it's truly.
It comes in.
All right, we'll get started. Let me say, Kofi, are you there? Do you have the presentation? We're going to start with Michael because Michael has a short presentation. What we're going to do is that each of you is going to, all right, each of you is going to give us a 5-minute short sharing of what you learned at Live to Lead. And then we're going to take it from there. Now, Priscilla is back with us. So, Priscilla, tell us, people want to know who you are.
Okay, good evening, everyone, once again. So my name is Priscilla Tibumenu. Yeah, a recent graduate from the University of Ghana. I read political science and French. And I also served as a leader in National Union of Baptist Students. I was the cell coordinator. That's my immediate leadership portfolio. And I'm also passionate about young people. I'm passionate because myself, I'm young, so I would want to study more, build myself to that capacity where I can contribute to the life of other people. Thank you. And I also am privileged to be part of this Lead to Lead session to share our lessons on what we took from the Lead to Lead program. Thank you.
Wonderful, great. Thank you so very much. So now we're going to start. We're going to start with Michael, and Michael is going to share with us his learnings from Live to Lead. So Michael, the floor is yours. I think I've seen your presentation. Let me see if I can pick it from, I think Abigail sent it. 1 minute. Okay. All right. So Michael, the floor is yours, so you can start.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Yim. And I want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to all our hosts of Lead to Lead Ghana, Live to Lead Ghana. I'm very, very honored for this opportunity. As for the 5 minutes, is very limited because the speakers were very packed. But so we can move to the first slide. Okay, so just this to say a very big thank you to all our speakers, even though they are not present here. So please, next slide. So move straight to the international speakers. Okay, so with this diagram, we saw that John C. Maxwell spoke about the 4 laws of communication, even though he's saying there are lots more, laws yet to come. So we saw the law of preparation, we saw the law of connecting, the law of leverage, and the law of thermostat. Now, when we talk about the law of preparation, we are talking about you cannot deliver what you've not prepared or developed. And most often, there is a need for us to develop and spend some time to culture what we want to communicate. When it comes to connecting, we always need to understand that communication is not about ourselves, it's about the people. So make sure you fit whatever you want to do, whatever you want to say, to address the need of the people, and also to make sure they can share in your story as well. When it comes to the law of leveraging, he spoke about we knowing our strength and knowing how to deal with our strength. Now, thermostat was really one of the fascinating, and it blew my mind, because you need to know the room and how your people are so that you can flow with them. And I saw that there is a need for us to do that. Now, he made a statement by Warren Buffett by saying that if you improve your communication skill, he guarantees that you would be able to earn 10 to 50% more money over your lifetime. And this says that communication is very important. So even as we develop as leaders, we don't need to quit developing our communication skills. So the next one says that no matter what job you have in life, your success will be determined 5% by your academic credentials, 15% by your professional experiences, and 80% by your communication skills. So you cannot do anything without making sure you develop this component of your life. Now we want to go to the local speakers. Because of time, my friends will touch on the others. Now, when we came to the local leaders, I saw that nothing in Ghana just happened. It is as a result of small actions unattended to. So the current state of Ghana is because we've done numerous things and we've left them undone. We've not addressed them. Leadership ought to be integrated in our educational system, where people learn to appreciate and they are taught leadership, because leadership is not just caught, it must be taught. That's the voice of my coach, Dr. Yaopebi here. Integrity does not happen naturally. We ought to be intentional. And this means that all of us need to be intentional about leading right and standing for what's right. Do not preach to others about ethics, rather engage them in discussion. By so doing, you are able to let them own up for their own responsibility and champion the cause. And that's what we saw done in Ashesi University. Then the last one says that, can we move, please? History favors those who fight for a good cause. And this statement really struck me, because we are not fighting for the good cause. Why would students do demonstration if we can voice out and fight in the right manner? History favors those who fight for a good cause. Okay. Now, we spoke about integrity. What integrity means: it means to be whole, to keeping to your word, treating people the way you want to be treated, honoring your contract, owning up to the mistakes and correcting them. Now, integrity is all about we being accountable and we being transparent. Okay. Now, we need to develop our potentials. To be honest, we saw one man who is 93 years old in the conference taking notes. And now we are saying technology is there, so we don't need to even scribble stuff. There is a need for us to develop our potentials. There is no room for us to be talking about excuses. Excuse your excuses and build capacity. Next slide, please. As we move, I think it keeps coming. Learn to accept your uniqueness. No one on earth is like you. You are unique. You are different. So learn to accept who you are. Now, greatness resides on your inside. You need to cultivate it. If you change your world with your story through your voice, and many people want to hear your story, but it must be altered through your voice. What are your non-negotiable values as an emerging leader? This ET says that he gave some statistics about it and things about it, but I'm saying that we need to develop non-negotiables. I choose integrity no matter the situation. Make sure you choose integrity no matter the situation. Thank you very much. Mr. Yin, please, you are muted.
Thank you so much, Michael, for those great insights. In fact, I mean, you've captured Live to Lead in such a powerful, simple way. I'm even amazed. It was like I was in the room, but the way you picked the lessons, thank you so much. Those were that. I
You're
mean, that was
welcome.
really good. That was really good. Thank you so much. All right. So we would now go to Priscilla. Priscilla to share with us her own learnings. All right, good. Priscilla,
Okay.
all
right.
I know you don't
Okay.
have any slides, but you have some ideas that you want to share with
Exactly.
us. All
Sure,
right,
sir.
let's hear you. Good.
Okay, so thank you very much once again for the opportunity. Joining Lead to Lead has had a very great impact in my life personally because, our traditional notion of what leadership is, we know that there has to be a political figure or somebody has to be in authority. Yes, that's also another form of leadership. But it was through Lead to Lead that I got to realize that leadership is broader than that. It's more about how you can empower the lives of other people and make their lives a better one. And it cuts across all spheres because all the speakers that came on board actually spoke about a lot of in their holding on to integrity in leadership wherever they find themselves, in their corporate businesses, in wherever they find themselves. So it just tells me that leadership is very broad. It's not only when you are in a position or occupying a portfolio. So my key lessons I took from Live to Lead. First of all, I want to begin with the local speakers. Yes, I must say that they really did very well touching on integrity. So touching on integrity, they mentioned that it's when you honor your word. I mean, when you do not violate, I mean, what you see, you hold on to your values, you hold on to whatever you stand for as a leader, regardless of the situation. And when you seek to empower the life of other people and make sure that they are able to realize their real potential, that is when you know that you are leading. And another striking statement he also made is that you see, integrity can be violated in situations where there is corruption, where we choose to ignore our values and choose to go with the crowd. I mean, a lot of people may be doing the same thing, I mean, in a very bad way, but it is to you, the leader, to make that decision that this is what you hold on to. And that's one of the biggest take home I'm taking with me. And another thing too, Uncle Ibo mentioned was that, permit me to say that in Chi, that Obia did in Ghana, it has become a notion that people hold on to. And I mean, that notion has to be raised. We have to and serve selflessly. We have to serve people out of compassion, out of what we want to see them become, what we want to see them do. Yes, and I will just move straight to the international speakers. One of the speakers that really spoke to me very well was Eric Thomas. Yes, he showed me leadership can be seen in sharing your story, and I believe that storytelling has that powerful instrument. I mean, you can use to encourage people, you can use to influence people to make them come out of whatever situation they find themselves. You see, there are people who may be so downhearted, things may not be going on too well for them, and they settle for that. They settle that is okay, this is where I am. But it is to us as a leader, to a great one, of course, to be able to tell our story. So he mentioned that there has to be, you have to tell your story in a very effective way. That's why he mentioned that you need to also develop your communication skills. So you can tell your story, but without communicating it very effectively to your audience, they may not see themselves there. And a story that the people do not see themselves in it, they may not, I mean, be able to fit and adjust or be able to change their status quo. So I believe that every one of us out there have a story. It may not be a good one, it may not be a very good one, but you sharing that story has the power to change somebody's life. And we need not to be ashamed of our story. He shared his story about his early years where things were not going so well, and he made a decision to rather develop himself by sticking to reading books, looking up to someone, John C. Maxwell, as his mentor. You see, so it all boils down on us to make that decision and that awakening call on ourselves that this is what I want. You need to develop yourself. You need to build capacity, because you may never know where you will see yourself in the next years to come. So why don't you take chance of or opportunity of the time you have on your hand and use it to build yourself and get ready for whatever may come for you. And another thing I'll touch on is as a leader, we need to have a powerful why. That is very, very important to us being leaders, because why do you choose to lead? Why do you choose why do you want to make that impact? The reason, the rationale, the motive behind should inform our decisions and inform our actions towards others. When our why is very strong, regardless of the circumstance, regardless of a bribe or whatsoever, our why will stick to us and will make us to uphold to our values and our moral standards. So to every young and emerging leader out there, I would encourage all of us that yes, you may not have a very bright story right now, but we need to be able to make the strong values as possible and develop ourselves, because we may not know what will come our way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I know that Priscilla has a bit more to share. We'll come back and we'll come and share more. And I love that you pick Thomas's sharing your story. It is actually important. Sometimes we are shy of our stories. And when I tell people about my village, and I'm so proud of telling about my village, it's great to me that I can share, because that can encourage somebody. And you too, wherever you came from, please share your story. I remember we had a lecturer in the University of Ghana, and his English was not very good. He was a TA, not a lecturer, a TA. And we're laughing at him. And he says, you people, you went to Achimota, you went to St. Augustine's, you went to this, and you had one teacher for grammar, one teacher for this. Me, I went my village, I had one teacher for all the subjects. So you should rather congratulate me for being here and being your TA rather than laughing at me. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for those great insights. We will now go to Gideon to share with us his own insights from Live to Lead. Gideon, you are very welcome.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. So I would want to start off with how John Maxwell started the entire program, which I believe it was very, very intriguing, because leadership boils mainly on communication. To me, that's what I think, and that's how I perceive leadership. So as a leader, if you have poor communication skills, you may be a good leader, but you may not be able to push people along with you to reach the dream that you want to get to. So I believe he started off very well, and Michael did very well talking about the four. I wouldn't talk on them. I was also very much interested with the working geniuses that Patrick Lencioni talked about. I believe it's a brilliant piece that he's been able to put up and bring it out. Before I watched this video, I hadn't thought of it that way, but watching it made me analyze myself. I sat down and I asked myself certain questions: that am I a wanderer, or am I an invention genius, or do I have discernment? Or I got to know that I'm not a galvanizer, definitely, because I don't have that charisma of moving people, but I know certain people in our leadership group who have it. So I was appreciative that though I don't have it, probably someone else has it, and it would be good for our leadership group. The genius of enablement and tenacity. I'm very tenacious, and anytime that I dream of something, I try to make sure that I would get to the end of it. So I believe it was a very brilliant piece that he has been able to come up with. And I'm sure that if leaders are to sit down and analyze themselves, analyze their group members, people they work with, as to which of these geniuses each member of this group has. I'm sure they will be able to see the gaps, and they should be able to know where to fill them. So I think that one was very good from him. Then I also enjoyed the talk from Dr. Tim Elmo very much, when he was talking about the generational gap, which was causing some problems. Before he explained that, I had observed certain things like that, especially in the church setting, when mostly the youth in the church would have certain brilliant ideas that they think if they are to present it to probably the leadership, which is mainly the elderly people, and if they are to present it to them, things should go well for them. But sometimes they would present these ideas, and these ideas are not accepted, and it sometimes they are good ideas that if the church is to adopt them would be very helpful to them, but because of our inability to appreciate that gap that exists and how to think of ways of bridging that gap, we tend to try to avoid it. And as he put it, we only want to tolerate with them. So the young would only want to tolerate with the elderly, and the elderly would do same. And not necessarily, they don't necessarily think of ways of working together to bridge that gap so that they would be very effective in their leadership. So I was very much interested in he bringing those generational gap issues in it, and I'm sure I think it's a very important principle that leaders everywhere should adopt, because as at now, as he mentioned, we have a number of generations living on the planet Earth now, and each generation has their own worldviews and their own perceptions about things, their own expectations about things. So if as a group, as a leader of groups, if you do not come together to learn and to bring that gap, you would only be just doing some back and forth something, because the people in one group will try to suggest something and the people in another group may not be on board, and it may not help the group to be so much productive on that. Also, talking about Patrick Lencioni again, he talked about the leader's life. So there are several aspects of the leader's life. The leader definitely may work for some hours. The leader may need some sleep for some hours, and the leader may also have to do some other stuff, family and all other things. So as a leader, you should know the ways that you can work effectively so that it wouldn't affect the other aspects of your life. Because if your work is giving you problems, it's going to affect your sleep, and if you're not able to get enough sleep too, it also goes ahead to affect the other aspects of your life. So as a leader, you should be able to find ways of coping, and I'm sure the last speaker, that's Doris Goodwin, talked about it, that how the various presidents had ways of managing and coping with their works. You don't have to be overly stressed by work. Sometimes you have to find mechanisms and coping ways that will help you so that work doesn't overwhelm you and take you to your grave so early. So these are some of the few things that I picked from the discussions. Thank you very much.
Wow, Gideon, that is really good. That's very, very good, and I like that. You see, when you are at LIVE2LEAD, you know, you at least you know yourself better. Like Gideon knows he's not a governizer, but he knows that he's a tenacious person. So that's, you know, where you fit. And when you are in a team, you can look at who are the people I have on my team, and I don't have this. Sometimes we want to just have people who are just like us. But having people who are just like you is not a good idea for a leader. You want people who are different from you, who see different perspectives to complement, so that we have a better team. And I like that. And I like also that you pick the generations. Maybe we'll come back later on and look at the generation, the young people of our day and our older generation in Ghana today. Where is the gap, and where do you guys think we have to, bridge? What are the young people expecting from the older generation. Thank you so much, Gideon. Yes, now we will go to Akosia to share with us her own thoughts. Hey, Akosia is here. All right, Akosia, thank you so much for
Thank you too.
showing up at LIVE2LEAD and showing up on the leadership platform. We are all ears. We want to hear your learnings from LIVE2LEAD 2022. Thank you.
All right. So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. So before I start sharing my views, I just want to share that the fact that it's a live to lead program doesn't mean that it was only for leaders. But I believe that everyone everywhere is a leader in his or her own way. Yes. So whether you are in a leadership position or not, you are still a leader in your own way. All right. So the first thing I would like to touch on, so I'll go in order of the speakers. Yeah. So the first thing that was spoken about by the local speakers was integrity, leading by integrity. And during this discussion, I really came to really understand what integrity means. So almost every company has integrity as their core value, and sometimes I wonder, I say to myself, do these people actually understand what integrity means? Do these employees do they really understand what integrity means to them as an individual and to their company? Right. And I've learned so much about integrity. It's about honesty. It's about treating others the way you want to be treated. It's about portraying your personal moral values, right? And they also spoke about how to inculcate integrity. And some of the speakers mentioned that integrity should be rewarded as a team, integrity in a team, sorry, integrity should also be punished if not observed well. And also, if as a company, if you want to observe integrity in your company, it should be clear, it should be made clear through policies or other means. So these are a few takeaways from integrity, and I must say that it's really going to help us as leaders and as the youth going out there to work, because integrity is very important to every company, and if you're able to portray it, I believe it's going to go a long way to help us. So now fast forward to the international speaker. So John Maxwell started and he touched on communication. So communication is, I just love communication because I was a publicity head, and I believe, as he said, that communication is very important. To be able to you should be able to communicate with people closely. You can communicate with them through the heart, through help, through humor, and communication should come naturally. I mean, some people will say that I'm naturally not a communicator, I'm too shy, I can't go to people. But hey, we need to learn how to communicate because we speak to people every day, and the way we come across to them is very important. He touched on a lot of things about communication and how we can connect to people naturally, and how communication is like very important. He also stated that one of the fears of people is public speaking, and that shouldn't be the case. So I believe that everybody out there can be a great communicator, even if you see yourself as an introvert or anything. Yes. So the next person to speak, he touched on UOU, yeah, ET. So he spoke about the fact that you have to be developed in order to deliver. So most of the times people just get up and say, okay, I have a presentation, or I have a talk somewhere, let me just put something together and then go and deliver to them. But then you realize that at a point, if you don't develop yourself or develop or prepare what you're going to present, it's not going to really relate to the people you're communicating with. It's going to come naturally to them. So developing yourself as a person, developing what you're going to present, fixing your story, your personal story in there, as my fellow speakers have touched on. Your story can be a great story to someone. And also ET stated that your story is not going to be a story. I mean, it's not going to appeal to everybody out there. Some people are going to really relate to what you're saying. Some people are going to be like, what is this one even saying? But your story is not meant for everyone. It's meant for specific people out there who are really going to hear your story and are going to connect to it and learn a lot from it. And also, the next speaker he touched on the generations, and what I took from it is that, so before I heard on this, I just thought that you're supposed to tolerate these generations, because sometimes it can be a bit overburdened working with them and all that. But I realized that we have to appreciate and learn to coexist and work with them, because these generations, from the young to the teenagers to the toddlers to the grandparents and grandmas, they all have their mindset, they all have a way of thinking. So what I took from it is that we should all come together, put what we are best at doing, bring our thoughts together, learn to coexist, learn to work together to bring out the best out of a team. Also, the next speaker, which I was very interested spoke about the geniuses. I never knew about all these types, and as an individual, I'm still trying to figure out which one I am. I know I'm not someone who really wonders too much, so I'm looking at the other four. But through the things I do every day, I'm trying to figure out which genius I am. And also, finally, John Marcel came again and spoke about the potential question and the potential path. That as a human being, if you give yourself a timeline, a deadline that, oh, after I get my first degree, that is it, I've made it in life. No. But then the question we ask is, how far can we go? How far can we go? How far can we go? Yes, so there's a lot to say, and I believe as the discussions go on, we'll share what we learned. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so very much, Akosia. And that is great. This generation thing, at a point, some people said maybe we should kill all the old men and women and then we start afresh. Well, that may be a good idea, but who is going to tell us the history? Who is going to tell us the story? Who is going to tell us the background and so on? And the older people think that, oh, these young people are useless. But if they are, who is going to give us the energy? Who is going to give us the change? Who is going to give us the drive? Now, from just all this, we can see that there's so much more to learn, so much more. So I'm going to bring all of them on board, and I'm going to ask all of them now the question: from the things you learned in Live to Lead, how do you see leadership in Ghana, and what can we learn? What can our leaders learn from the things that you learned in Live to Lead? So I'm going to bring all of you on board now, and I'm going to let's see, where is Gideon? Where's Michael? Let me see, Michael. Michael, you have rested enough. You have rested. Michael, you have rested enough. So I'm going to start with you, Michael. Now, first of all, which of the speakers was your favorite speaker and why?
If you say favorite, is in terms of local or in terms of the international?
Okay, so let me give you the option. One local, one international.
that is great. That's great. With the international, John C. Maxwell, he really nailed the point. With local, is Patrick Ewa. To be honest, I didn't even know he's an Accra, and I'm an Accra. I didn't know that.
What is Accra?
Oh, that's an old student of Achimota Senior High.
You these people, you want to take over the country. Those of us from the village, we too will come. All right. So now tell me, from the things you learned, what can we learn as a people? How do you see leadership, whether it's in your church where you see it, whether it is in your schools where you see it, whether it is in the country where you see it? How do you situate the leadership we are experiencing in Ghana compared to what the things you learned? And what do you think, and how do you think we can bridge the gap, if any? I want all of you to address that question for us.
Okay. So let me pick with communication from John C. Maxwell, what he said. You see, it means that there is a huge communication gap between our leaders and the people they lead. Because if we are not connecting, we are not seeing the need to whatever thing we are bringing on board is for the people. but we are just saying it to suit ourselves, then there is no need to even say it's leadership in the first place. And when you bring it to what Patrick Ewa spoke about, it means that Ghana has a lot of things to do in terms of standing right and saying we are owning up for the mistakes we are doing. I want to zero it to maybe the youth, because we are youth. If you come to our leadership in school, it tells us that there is a high tendency of we being corrupt, because a young man wants to stand for SRC and he does all the Kanana thing, gets huge sums of money to sponsor himself and comes into power. He also wants to find dubious means to also get the same money he has invested. We need to be whole, and we need to own up to our own mistakes and say, this is what we want. Ghana must work because we are around. And that's what I see.
Thank you so very much. And that's really, I just love that, you know. Ghana must work. If we are corrupting from the young people, then, hey, God save Ghana. And we're not going to have a change, because if SRC, the corruption is starting as SRC, then how are we going to get it when EC comes on board? All right. So thank you so much. Priscilla, what's your take on that?
All right, thank you very much. That was a very, very nice one there, Michael. I also believe that what we can do to help our leadership is what I said earlier. So Eric Thomas mentioned that we all need a powerful why. And I think Michael was trying to toe on that line, but he couldn't touch it on. So I believe that everybody has a reason they want to be a leader. Everybody wants to be a leader for one reason or the other. So I believe that leaders should have that consciousness, or that the conscience that if I do this to my fellow human being, will it be okay? You see, but we lack that the why. We do not define the why we want to be leader in the first place, and sometimes it could be money, the fame of it, or something else. We all don't know. But it's to you, the individual, you know secretly in your heart why you want to lead. And I believe that we should let our why be strong enough. It should be something that puts people in the picture, like they should value people and cherish them, and know that you want to empower people, you want to make people's lives better, not for yourself. And I believe that that's
let me just pick a bit of that. When you look at our leadership, whether in school, in church, in Ghana today, what do you think is the why of our people? Do you think that what you're talking about, what's going on? What are the young people seeing from
young people?
Seeing from our older leaders.
Oh yes, from our older leaders. Like Michael mentioned, you see, people will pump a lot of money into being in the leadership portfolio, and you wonder what exactly they are after. Or so when they get there, they'll try every means possible to get those monies back. And you see, that is where the question is. I don't know what we can do to help them so that they don't end up putting a lot of money inside, so that when they come into power, they will not they will exploit our resources or whatever we have. But I believe that if people are selfless enough and know that I'm putting my all into this thing to see a change, to see the lives of people turn around, and I believe that they will serve with that consciousness, that conscience that, if I exploit or if I steal this money, it's not for the better, you see. So I believe it's a personal question, a personal decision. I don't know. Our leaders should handle that themselves. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that's really great, because we young people, we are trying to position you for leadership. The reason we bring a lot of young people to LIVE2LEAD, so that we can learn from the very best, the best ideas. We can begin inculcating this into our younger generation. And I'm asking this question to all of us, because sometimes we want you to see what is going on and to ask yourself, is this what we want? And what can we do differently? Because we don't want to come and begin to do the same things that is not helping us. So thank you so much, both of you. Great ideas. I love that. Gideon, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I would start from the ground upwards. They started from the up down. So, yeah. So, from Michael's point, it's obvious that we have left certain values and virtues out, and we think that probably more education would solve our problems for us. But the reality is that we have people who are well educated in occupying those positions. The Minister of Health, Minister of Education, they're all well educated people, but their knowledge is not solving the problems. I believe that they should go back to the basic values and virtues like integrity has been mentioned here, integrity, honesty, and they should have some good conscience that what I'm doing, is it the right thing to be done or not? Because if you look at even the young people we have, the people we interact with, we are the ones who are always blaming the elderly for spending Ghana money, as we say it. But when you engage some of these same people, they also tell you that when they get there, they will have to also get their share, because the people there have gotten their share. So when they also get there, they have to get their share. So I really get scared sometimes. Sometimes during lectures, when some of these issues come up and our lecturers ask us of our take on them, some people think it's okay. If they would get money to be comfortable with their wives and family, it's okay. So when it happens like that, I get scared, because I know that in the next 5-10 years, these same people are the people who will be the district director of health service. These people will be the ministers of health and others. And now you see the kind of mindset these people have. Definitely, when they get it, they are even going to do worse than what we are seeing now. So I think that we should go back to the basics. We want to think that the problem is in some complex theories or not, or something of that sort. I don't think so. I think it's in the basic things. If we really looked at the basic things, we teach them at home. We teach our children how to have integrity. We teach our children to be honest and stuff like that. If the church and other organizations are to focus on teaching people stuff like this, I believe that things would be able to change. But if we think that more education will change and solve our problems for us, then we may be lying to ourselves.
I like that. I like that. So yes, education is good, but we have a lot of education without values, and that's what Gideon is saying. If we don't have values, we would have all the education and the professors and the doctor and the whatever, and we still will not solve our problem. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Akosia, yes. What's your take?
Okay.
Where's the glass?
All right. Thank you. Okay, so I agree with my colleague speakers. So I believe that the major problem that I've observed over the years in both the university leadership and church and even in the country is their whys, and as to whether they buttress their whys with integrity. So okay, you state out your policies, you say, if I come into power, I want to do this, this, and that. But then after you have voted into power, do you honor your word? Are you honest? Were you honest about those things? Would you actually do it? So what I've observed is that it's actually they've observed it from the top, those at the top, and they've seen that okay, these people when they come to power, they don't really honor their word. So I mean, if I also get it, if I don't do it, no one will catch me. So just as Gwen Ado said, integrity should be rewarded, integrity should be punished. I feel like there's so much laissez-faire when it comes to these areas. It's just so free, everyone does what they want. But I feel like if it's rewarded, if it's clearly stated that these are our integrity policies, these are what we want to do as a company or even as a country, and if it's stated clearly, people will love to also be rewarded. If it's punished, people will fear to even not do something with integrity. So I feel like leaders both in school and churches and in the country as a whole should, yes, give their whys, but then they should be very genuine whys. And also when they get into power, they should buttress their whys with integrity. So
I
if
love
this
that.
two comes together, it's going to be perfect for us. Thank you.
Great, great, great ideas. If we can buttress our why with integrity. But they didn't even say that on the platform. You've said it better than what they said. You should buttress their why with integrity, and that will be better. I have a few more questions. Guys, don't go away. We have 30 more minutes, and I have great questions. I want, I want these leaders on the stage to tell us what type of Ghana do the young people of this country aspire to? What type of Ghana do you want to see? And what can the young people today do towards creating this type of Ghana? But we are going to take a quick break. And there are also some comments from our audience. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want you guys to tell us what type of Ghana are our young people looking up to see? I mean, if as Gideon is saying, within the class and we are discussing and they are saying, look, I mean, the guys are riding V8 all the time. They are riding in the poor areas and they say that they need the V8. Me too, when I come, maybe not this day, I hear they've moved from V8 to Lexus. That's where they are moving now, you know. So maybe now when we come, we're going to have Mercedes at the highest level or whatever. So what type of Ghana do we want to have? Or what kind of Africa, kind of world do we young people want to see? And what is going to be our own contribution as young people to create this? So let's take a quick break.
Nobody ever thought their way to success. Nobody ever hoped their way to success. Nobody ever wrote goals on a planner to success. They acted. Action is what attracts. It's the action. It's the movement. Every person has a change the world speech inside of them. It's inside of you. Every one of you have a message. Every one of you have a dream. And my hope is that today you'll begin to express that dream better than you ever have, because people need to hear your story. People need to see your vision. And when you learn to communicate, you pass it on to others and you help so many people make a difference in the world. So let your dream come out and learn how to communicate it with excellence. Thank you very much. My name is John. I'm your friend. Thank you.
A lot. So answer this question that I'm going to bring. I think Sarah is somewhere. If she's still around, I'll bring Sarah up. But I want you to tell us, what type of Ghana do you want? And what can the young generation do for us to create this type of Ghana? I'm going to start from the ladies. Kosia, share with us, what type of Ghana do the young people want to see? Or what type of Africa, what type of world?
So the first point I would say is that Ghanaians would like to see leaders who are true to their word. So that would stand from integrity. Once again, I believe integrity is the word for the day. So we need leaders who are true to their word, leaders who are going to honor what they say, leaders who are going to come clear to us when they know they can't do something, but wouldn't say that they can do it wouldn't say that they can do it when in fact there are no resources or the funding is not even enough to do it. I believe those are leaders of integrity, leaders who are clear, leaders who are willing to learn from others.
We should also focus more on the emerging leaders. As a country, we should be thinking about what we can be doing for the young people to shape them and prepare them for leadership, so that when it gets to their time, they wouldn't also fault and also be doing the wrong things that we see them do now. So the Ghana that I want to see is that of a country where we have good and effective leaders.
I want to thank all of you, and I'm seeing all the comments, and even myself, I've taken a lot of notes from what you guys have shared this evening, and I'm satisfied that if we can continue this journey and grow a lot more young people like you, and if we can multiply this knowledge across, I think Ghana really has a bright future. The world has a future. All the rest of the comments are just great. Congratulating all the speakers on the panel. Somebody says, I'm inspired by your contributions, and you are all great leaders in the making. All right. So I think that summarizes everything. Thank you very much. All right. So to the rest of of you all, we want to thank all of you for making the time to be on the leadership platform. May God bless you. And as I always say, tomorrow is Sunday. Remember, God has given it to us. Let us make time to go and worship him and the way he wants. God bless you, and see you until next week, where we bring you another great leader with a great leadership lesson. This has been the Leadership Platform. Good night, and God bless you all.
Nobody ever thought their way to success. Nobody ever hoped their way to success. Nobody ever wrote goals on a planner to success. They acted. Action is what attracts. It's the action. It's the movement. Every person has a change the world speech inside of them. It's inside of you. Every one of you have a message. Every one of you have a dream. And my hope is that today you'll begin to express that dream better than you ever have, because people need to hear your story. People need to see your vision. And when you learn to communicate, you pass it on to others, and you help so many people make a difference in the world. So let your dream come out and learn how to communicate it with excellence. Thank you very much. My name is John. I'm your friend. Thank you.